Hey, what's going on? Luke here, and yesterday I did my Nrl 2021 ladders prediction video. In that video, I said I was going to be doing a more in-depth predictions video, and as you can tell by the title, that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. So there's a few categories that I'm going to be going through. I'm going to be going through the obvious ones, your premiers, your minor premiers, Dally M, all that sort of stuff, but I'm also going to be doing the most overhyped team, the most underrated team, top point scorer, top try scorer, and rookie of the year. But just before we do that, I just want to take the time to ask if you do happen to enjoy this video, like and subscribe. It's super important for the channel. Turn the notification bell as well. Like I said, it's just very important in terms of growing the channel. And the NRL season is about to start, and I can already see the growth happening in terms of views and subscribers. So thank you very much. I hope to see you around the channel for a long time. So now we got that out of the way, let's get into these predictions. So I'm thinking that seeing as I pretty much did this one in yesterday's ladder prediction video, I may as well get this one out of the way first. For minor premiers, I've gone with the South Sydney Rabbitohs. I think they've got a super strong side. You look at their spine, Latrell, Cody Walker, Adam Reynolds, and Damien Cook. You even got Benji Marshall as a replacement should there be any injuries. That's probably the strongest spine in the whole comp, and I think spines, they obviously win a lot of games, and they've got the forward pack to go with it. They've got the backs to go with it. They just got a super solid squad all around, a great coach. And also, I feel like this year it's premiership or bust. They need to win a premiership. Got contract talks with Adam Reynolds, Cody Walker's getting older, Damien Cook's getting older, even Benji's getting older as well. They're all guys who are either already in their 30s or approaching their 30s. Latrell's obviously the young one, but I think he's going to come into form at fullback this year. The rest of the side, though, is quite young and hitting their prime. So, yeah, I think they are definitely prime for a premiership run. And I don't know if they're going to actually win the premiership. However, I think they'll get the minor premiership. I think throughout the regular season and throughout Origin and all that sort of stuff, I think they'll be able to maintain the first position. And I think they'll come home with a minor premiership. The real question, though, is will they win the actual premiership? But my first instinct said yes, but then I don't think just because I had them as the minor premiers, I was sort of thinking, oh, well, I can't put them as both. So I've actually gone with the Roosters. However, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rabbitohs do it. I'd say they'd be one of the favourites with the Roosters, with your Storms, with your Raiders, with your Panthers, all of those teams. I think you can sort of interchange any of them out. Now, obviously, last season wasn't one of the better ones for them. However, even in one of the weaker years for them, they still got top four. They nearly beat Panthers, and they had a fair few injuries towards the back end of the season. Now, they start off this season with a fair few injuries. They have your players like Luke Keary, Boyd Cordner, even the Morris boys. They're probably an injury away from having their careers done. Well, I say injury, but I mean a concussion, and I think there's going to be question marks over them. However, if they can just stay fit throughout the season, I know Boyd Cordner's not starting the season, but Trent Robinson sort of gets some prime for the finals. I think last year they just ran out of gas. I think 2 premierships and then going for the third, going for the three-peat. I think it was too much for them, and finally just the fatigue set in. Whereas this year, I think they'll be hungry. I think they'll be primed. And I think by the back end of the season, I think you have Boyd Cordner back. They'll have their leader back. Hopefully Luke Keary's there. You might even see a guy like Sam Walker come in and take the halfback position or five position, whatever you prefer at the time. But Luke Keary is moving to halfback. I think they are going to be a better side this year. And we all know if the Roosters are better than they were last year, it's still going to be a very, very scary side. And they've got the experience to do it in a grand final. James Tedesco's still there. Luke Keary's still there. I think it's going to be a very, very good season for the Roosters. Also, I've been talking about how the Rabbitohs are an aging side. The Roosters are also an aging side, and they'll be looking to go out with a bang. They've got a lot of youngsters coming through, but they've also got a lot of older guys, like your Morris boys, and guys like Rory Hargreaves and Boyd Cordner, and a couple of those guys. They're not getting any younger. And to be honest, this might be one of the last years of their sort of premiership run for the next couple of seasons before they sort of rebuild. I say rebuild with the Roosters. They never truly rebuild. They already got guys to come in. They've just got Swiley. They're trying to get exceptions for him as a 17-year-old to play. So they definitely got guys waiting in the wings. But just in terms of this current crop, you just know that they'll be wanting a premiership, and they'll be wanting to get as many as they can while they have this great gun side. In saying that, though, it's such a strong field this year. I don't think there's any guarantees in terms of who's winning a premiership. I think in the past couple of seasons, we're able to look at the Roosters, say like 2018, 2019, you're able to say, oh, yep, them, the Storm, they're going to be up there. So many question marks over teams like the Storm. There's no Cameron Smith. Rabbitohs, can they do it? They haven't been able to do it in the prelims. You have the Panthers, obviously lost in the grand final, but it's so hard to get to the final the second year. I mean, Storm and Roosters have been able to do it, but it's so hard apart from them to make it to back-to-back grand finals. Raiders are another one who are also capable, but you just don't know what you're going to get with the Raiders. Plus, any other team do sort of make a run. There's usually a couple teams who sort of play above what they probably should. Maybe a team like the Titans. Who knows? Speaking of the Titans, let's talk about them. I've gone with them as the most overhyped team in 2021. Now, you might be thinking, oh, well, how are you going to make them overhyped? They haven't even been making the 8 the last couple of years. They're probably going to make the 8 this year. How would you figure that that's overhyped? Well, a lot of the talk around the media, a lot of Titans fans, just fans in general of the NRL, sort of have them primed to make the top 4, push for a premiership. Now, I know not everybody's doing that, but a good amount are saying, yep, top 4, even a premiership's on the cards. Now, I just can't see that happening. I know they've got a strong side, but you got to factor in that despite them signing David Fifita and Big Tino, they have lost Dry Arrow. Dry Arrow is going to be a big loss for them. He's been around for a little while. He's probably a good leader of the club, so you're losing them. It's not like you're taking and adding Fifita and Tino into the side with Arrow. You still got to replace him. Ryan James isn't there this year. I know he hasn't been playing, but he's just been in and around the squad. You'd think he'd have a good influence on the side. And I still have some major question marks over their halves. Ash Taylor, Fogarty, still relatively unproven. I know Fogarty had a good year last year, but look, at this point, he's kind of in his second year. Is he going to have second year syndrome? I don't know. Ash Taylor definitely hasn't lived up to his price tag, and him playing sort of okay doesn't justify it. I mean, he's good enough to be a first grader, but he's just an okay player. Like, if this was the Josh McCrone or someone there, they'd probably be doing the exact same thing. Ash Taylor definitely hasn't set the world on fire. I feel like at this point in his career, he's just another player you could interchange. You could chuck Lachlan Lewis there. You could chuck any sort of average sort of half, and they'd probably do the same job as him. And that might sound harsh, but that's just how I feel about Ash Taylor at the moment. Maybe by halfway through the season, Titans will be flying. They'll be top 4, and I'll be eating my words. But that's just how I feel about Ash Taylor. You add in Mitch Rain at hooker, or whoever's going to be the hooker. The fact that they don't really have a star hooker, not even like a solid good hooker. You just got Mitch Rain there. He got punted by the Dragons, punted by Panthers. He hasn't really done too much as of late. He's just sort of average. He's just okay. He's just another sort of Ash Taylor. He's just there. And I think he definitely has a spot in a first grade squad, but I just can't see a top 4 squad having Mitch Rain as your starting hooker. In saying that though, just because I think they're overhyped doesn't mean I think they're a bad side. I think they'll have a good year, just in terms of where the expectations actually are. I think a lot of the fans have them up here. Look, they're even doing documentaries and stuff. But they've got them up here, and I think they'll sort of be around here. I think that's as simple as that. It's not like I'm saying they're a bad side. I think they can make the top 8. I think they probably will make the top 8. But just in terms of them pushing the premiers and pushing those top 4 sides, I don't know about that. Now moving on to a team that I think is underrated going into the 2021 season. That is the North Queensland Cowboys. Now you just look at their roster. They got a lot of good players. They haven't been able to put it together for the last couple of years. But they've also had a coach who hasn't really changed anything in his style of play in the last couple of years. Everybody knew it was outdated except for the Cowboys. And I think them signing Todd Payton is a really, really good move. We saw what he could do at the Warriors. He did good things with the Warriors. And the Warriors, you would say, weren't that good of a squad last year. They've gone and made a couple of good signings this year. But you look at their squad last year and how they actually played and all the circumstances of them having to stay in Australia, last minute and all that sort of stuff. He had them going really, really good. And him going to the Cowboys, I think it's going to be a big change for him. I think just the fact that they're going to play different rather than just out the back and then relying on Jason Tamalalo to do something. I think the fact that they've already come out and said they're going to use him differently, probably going to use a whole bunch of other players differently. They're not going to be trying to experiment with Valentine Holmes, moving him to fullback and wing and changing all this sort of stuff. I think if they can just come up with a set back line, I think they should be sweet. And if Michael Morgan can stay fit, I think they're definitely a chance at the top 8. I saw people scoffing at me putting them in the top 8 category. I think that's where I had them in my ladder prediction video. But a lot of people are like, oh no, you got to chuck them way further down. They're terrible. But you're basing that off their results off the last couple of years, not their squad. And like I said earlier, I'm basing this all off the fact that Todd Payton is actually a quality coach and can bring new results. Look at the Titans last year. Their squad was absolutely terrible. You add in a good coach and they produce some results. Sometimes all it takes is a really good coach like Todd Payton potentially and take those current crop of players and get them producing the best week in, week out, because the Cowboys definitely haven't. So yeah, I've got them as the most underrated. I think it's kind of a mixed opinion on the Cowboys. A lot of people have got them sort of pushing towards the bottom, pushing towards the wooden spoon. Some people have got them up pretty high. I feel like every year we look at their squad and we go, yep, they're a top 4 caliber team, and they just never do it. But this year, I think they're definitely capable of making the 8, somewhere probably from 7th, 8th position, somewhere like that, maybe even 9th or 10th, but just somewhere around the middle of the pack. And I think the 4 pack that they've got, you've got your Jordan McLeans, your Josh Maguires, your Jason Tambalalos, I think they'll be able to compete with some of the top teams as well, because they do have a really, really solid 4 pack. And if Michael Morgan can get back to his best, we definitely know they'll be competing with every single team. Michael Morgan, he was a gun when he was fit, just hasn't been fit the last couple of years. So I suppose there's a lot of variables. It all depends on injuries and new coaches and stuff, but I do see them having a bit of a rise this year, and I do think they're underrated. Next up, we're going to be talking about the wooden spoon. This is a controversial one. I think there's a couple of teams who can win it, but I'm going to go with Manly for this one. I was really tempted to throw the Dragons in there, and I think they're definitely a chance. Like, would not be surprised at all if they win it, but I've just gone Manly. Just first off, it'd be kind of funny if they won it. Secondly, I think they rely on Tom Trbojevic too much. And third, yeah, I just don't think they have the team around them. They've lost Fanua Blake. I think he's going to be a big loss, and he doesn't get talked about as much as he is an idiot off the field. On the field, fantastic, and he's a big pickup for the Warriors. And I know they signed Josh Alloway, but Alloway is nowhere near as good as Adam Fanua Blake. He's just not. Add in that one of their big off-season signings is Kieran Foran, hamstring issues. You've got Dylan Walker, who's always injured as well, and then obviously Tom Trbojevic getting injured, getting out of a bath or a shower or running down the street, whatever it was. He's got another hamstring injury, and that's not good. Add in any injuries that could happen throughout the season. If Cherry Evans goes down, Jake Trbojevic, I know it's such a simple one to say, oh, if your best player gets injured, but I feel like they will crumble if any more injuries happen, because I think Trbojevic is guaranteed to get injured at least one more time this season. Add in that the Dragons have a new coach. They got a couple good youngsters coming through, and yeah, they have potential. It's just a matter of, do they get the squad right? Are the youngsters actually going to live up to the hype? We saw guys like Zach Lomax really have a breakout year last year. Is there going to be some more like him? Maybe a Cody Ramsey's and that. For Dragons fans, you want to hope so. But at this point, I mean, Dragons, Manly, it's a toss-up. Either one, you can pick either one of them. The more I talk about it, the more I think I should have said the Dragons. But I'm just going to stick with Manly because they were my original pick. So Manly for the wooden spoon it is. Also, they've never won a wooden spoon before, so it would be quite funny to see it. Broncos won it last year, so why not Manly this year? Let's just get all the teams out of the way, why don't we? Every team should experience a wooden spoon. Those are all my predictions in terms of teams. Now we're going to get on to individual awards or individual predictions. The first one I'm going to go with is actually 2, because I think the same player is going to get it. I'm going to go top point scorer, also the Dally M medal winner. I'm going to go with Nathan Cleary for this one. He plays on the Panthers side, who I think is going to score a lot of points. Obviously, he's the goal kicker. He does score a fair few tries as well. He backs up pretty well, Cleary. And I also think after missing out last year, and there being so much hate on Jack White and winning and how Nathan Cleary should have won it, I think they kind of might try and not redeem it, but make up for it. At least they'll be scoring a lot more fairly, I would have to say. Because I think like a lot of people thought Nathan Cleary deserved that last year. I made a video talking about what a sham the Dally M medal is to start off with. But I do think the fact that he missed out last year will help him this year, in the sense that they'll go, oh, well, we need to make up for it because he really should have got it last year. Even if he doesn't necessarily deserve it this year, I think he might get it. So that's why I've gone for him there. And in terms of just point score, I mean, it explains itself. Like I said earlier, Panthers are going to score a lot of tries, in my opinion, and he does score a lot of points himself. I can also see Adam Reynolds winning it, because he's not going to be playing Origin, where like last year Nathan Cleary played Origin, but it was at the end of the season, so didn't miss any games, but he definitely will this year. But Adam Reynolds, he won't, so he's going to be there. He's going to be kicking goals, maybe scoring tries through that period, and just accumulating more points, and he already won it last year, so he's definitely a chance. But yeah, I've just gone with Nathan Cleary for that one. In terms of top try scorer, I've gone with Kyle Feldt for this one. I did have the temptation to go Alex Johnson just based off last year, but then I kind of remembered Alex Johnson scored like 4 or 5 or something in the last game, and kind of made it look like he scored a lot more than what he actually did. Obviously, he did score a lot, but Kyle Feldt, he pretty much had it wrapped up. And then Alex Johnson just scored all those tries in that last game against the Roosters. I mean, they put 60 on the Roosters or whatever, and half of them were Alex Johnson's tries. So yeah, that last game, it did sort of just send it up a lot. I think he went from, I don't know where he was. I don't know if he was even really a contender, and then all of a sudden, bam, in one game, he's up there and he wins. Now, I just got off the back of talking about how I think the Rabbitohs will score a lot of points. I talked about Penrith as well. You think I'd have their wingers in there. But I do think the fact that Kyle Feldt is probably their prime target on the wing for the Cowboys, I think he'll benefit from it. Also, he hasn't played Origin in the past. It could be this year. It definitely could be this year. But if he doesn't play Origin, he's going to be scoring tries throughout that period as well. But yeah, I just think he's going to score a lot of tries. The fact that the Cowboys squad wasn't as good last year as I think they will be this year, and he still scored that amount of tries, I think that sets him up pretty well for 2021. So that's why I've gone for him for top try scorer, just purely for the fact that I think he came second last year, nearly won it, and he was in a weaker Cowboys side, and I think he'll benefit greatly from having a better coach, and he'll probably score more tries this year. Now, for my final category, it's the Rookie of the Year. A couple of years ago, I kind of knew who all the rookies were, but the last couple of years, I kind of fell off. The under 20s isn't as prominent these days. You don't really know too much about them. They're not televised all the time, so I don't know who the gun players are. You used to hear about your Tom Trbojeviches and like Josh Dugan back in the day. You knew who all the new guns were coming through, and apart from Sawali, I don't really know too many, but one name I do know is Josh Schuster from the Manly Warringah Seagulls. I think he's primed for a good season, and I know earlier I said Manly were going to win the wooden spoon, but that still doesn't mean that Schuster can't have a good season. He can still have a pretty good season despite all the players around him. Also, it's going to take other rookies having a really, really good season as well. And so at least in my head when I'm picking Schuster, it's kind of the fact that you have Kieran Foran in there. He gets injured a fair bit, so you'd think Schuster's going to get a crack at some point, whether it be off the bench, whether it be at 5'8". I don't really know, but I think he's going to get a chance at some point, and I think he will excel. I think he would do quite well. And yeah, that's pretty much my reason for Rookie of the Year, because I don't really know too many people. So apologies for people. You're probably thinking, oh, where's this player? Where's this player? I just don't know. Anyways, those are my 2021 predictions. Leave in the comment section below. What are your predictions for all the categories that I did? All the ones I covered. I want to see them in the comment section below. I want to see your opinions, because I'm sure there's going to be plenty who disagree. There's going to be some who agree, but mostly disagree, I'd say. So jump in the comment section. We can have a bit of a chat. We can have a discussion. And who knows, maybe you'll change my mind about a few things in terms of who I've picked. Also, like I said in the video, if you could drop a like on this video, that'd be very much appreciated. Subscribe to the channel as well if you're new around here. It's very much appreciated as well. Turn the notification bell, also very much appreciated. Unless you'll be notified immediately that I've uploaded. You don't have to worry about the sub boxes. We all know they're pretty dodgy, so go ahead and turn on the notification bell. Also, give me a follow on social media. It's on the screen right now. It's Mr. Luke and YT for the most part. I'm the only one that's different is Facebook, which is just Mr. Luke. Go ahead and give me a follow, give me a like. Add me on Snapchat as well, Mr. Luke and YT. To be honest, I'll probably post on that a lot more than anything else. So go ahead, give me an ad on that. But yeah, that's all I really gotta say. 2021 season starts tomorrow. I'm so excited. I'm assuming by the fact that you're watching this that you probably are as well, or you're probably coming back to this in about a year's time and you're looking at it and going, oh my God, can't believe you said Manly Wooden Spoon. Wow, Rooster for Premiers. Something along the lines of that. That's just my guess, but that's all I gotta say for this video. Thanks for watching and I'll see you soon in the next one. See yous.